Finally, Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden.
Mother... We were so close. But you know what? Good. Get fine. It's good. It's right. It's his right. He's an 82-year-old man. Doesn't want to spend the rest of his life visiting his son in prison. Republicans get away with this shit all the time. I'm sure the pardon is a narrowly written, precisely drawn farewell note of compassion for a loved one.
The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years.
Years is a very specific and not rounded amount of time. So, Hunter, I'll give you a pardon. Well, a few years, 5 years, 10 years. It needs to be 11. And if you would be so kind, make sure this upcoming New Year's Eve is also covered. Shit's going to get crazy. I didn't know pardons could cover crimes you may have committed. I'm sorry. I'm surprised Biden didn't include the phrase, on Earth 1 or any of the Earths in the multiverse. Now, some would say that's what any loving father would do for their troubled son or daughter, should they have the power. But on Fox News, it was this love, in fact, that may have caused the problem in the first place.
My dad always told me, Ainsley, if you get arrested, don't call me. I'm not your first phone call. I'm leaving you in there.
Good night, sweetie. By the way, your dad always told you that? Were you a degenerate? Or was your dad De Niro? No, listen to me. No. You get pinched. I'm not your first phone call. I don't know you. There's 10 grand and a gun in the floorboards. Good luck, kid. And, by the way, not just Ainsley, the rest of the Fox cinematic universe was no happier.
Not only the worst president in U.S. history, but also the most corrupt. This entire administration has been nothing but a sham.
He and his family are so full of slime that Nickelodeon is going to sue for trademark infringement.
You, Joe Biden.
You, Joe Biden? Megyn Kelly, who do you think you are? Me? What am I supposed to say now? You is my line. You've stolen my line. At long last, have you no decency? Me. Of course, no one was more outraged than America's judicial compass, Donald Seneca Trump.
President-elect Trump weighing in as well. He says, does the pardon given by Joe to Hunter include the January 6 hostages who have now been in prison for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice.
Oh, you pardoned your son. Well, what about the people who tried to help me overthrow the government? There's kind of a leap there. It's like going, oh, you're going to let the kids stay up to watch SNL, but you're not even going to try to help me burn the neighbor's house down? So, obviously, Republicans are going to criticize. But Biden did make this line of attack particularly available, seeing as how he spent so long saying he wouldn't do it because of how much he respects the system.
I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Now watch this dive. Look. you've ever found yourself in this situation. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you are being questioned about pardoning your son, do not do it at the swim-up bar of a Club Med. And also, not for nothing, with an old guy, I mean, Biden squints indoors. So you don't face the guy in the sun and try and get an honest answer. He immediately looks untrustworthy. You're going to give him a pardon? But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Hypocrisy isn't illegal, nor is it particularly unusual in politics. It's not like he's ever going to run again, so why not take care of your kid? Even if you said you weren't gonna. I respect it. I don't have a problem with it. The problem is the rest of the Democrats made Biden's pledge to not pardon Hunter the foundation of their defense of America, this grand experiment.
One political party remains committed to the rule of law and the other doesn't. It's that simple.
Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. Democrats stand for the rule of law.
We accept the outcome because that's how the rule of law works.
Because the justice system that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what does.
I think I know what does. And now look at the dance Democrats have to do.
Be honest, the only reason why they went after Hunter the way they did, and I've talked to many federal prosecutors about this, is because he's the president's son.
People have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political witch hunts.
Crowing from Republicans, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally had pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France.
So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror.
Ma'am, we will take a look in that mirror, but we are taking off. So if you could just put this shit on airplane mode and let us get home for the holidays. Yes, to everything that you guys were saying. If you hadn't made Hunter Biden not receiving a pardon the Mason-Dixon line of morality between Democrats and Republicans, there's a big gap between the law is the only thing that separates us from the animals and the monkey threw shit at me first. I had no choice. This is what Biden's decision has done. Look how confident and eloquent our Democratic representatives were back when they thought they had the moral high ground on this issue.
I've not heard a single Democrat anywhere in the country cry fraud, cry fixed, cry rigged, cry kangaroo court. You don't hear a single peep out of any Democrat saying that why we believe in the rule of law.
And now look at what even he, one of the most verbally dexterous attorneys we have on Capitol Hill, has been reduced to.
Do you think President Biden should pardon Hunter Biden?
So there are lots of claims of political prosecution and political
And was Hunter politically prosecuted?
I mean, obviously that's a judicial point, and you've got to look at what the evidence is, and I don't know enough about
should the president pardon him?
I mean, again, that is a unilateral executive power that...
and should he use it?
Well, the power exists for the president to show mercy for people.
I mean, we have an executive, and we have a judicial, and then a legislative, and then smoke bomb! Thank you. Wow. First time I've crouched since Thanksgiving, and that did not go well. But then why this weekend? Normally you drop a controversial pardon like the way you buy porn at a gas station, in a flurry of other distracting purchases and pardons. Oh, yeah, what do you give me that? Breath mints there, the WD-40, the squeegee there, one of those anal magazines. Some corn nuts. Pardon for my son. The Dicks Like Chicks pamphlet. So why did you do it now?
As NBC News first reported, the president did decide to reverse course over the holiday weekend at his family's annual Thanksgiving getaway in Nantucket.
Thanksgiving. I knew it! Perhaps I can explain the way this pardon went down in my new one-man show. Can you get Hunter to stop looking at me like that? I take you there now. I'll be playing the role of Hunter. How are you, Father? Are you well, Father? I'm a bit down. You know, last Thanksgiving with the family for a while. If only someone could change that. This turkey is delicious. Obviously not one of the ones that was pardoned. I made you watch that because people think I can't act. Anyway. Still on camera. Look, man, the Democrats made this case an example of why Americans should believe in our system. And it's hard. Democrats have the tougher road of defending our institutions and systems as being flawed but still valuable. Republicans just run on blowing this shit up. But at every turn, Democrats keep getting caught creating a purity test for a system that they can't seem to pass themselves.
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself?
How that could possibly happen. How anyone could be that irresponsible.
Irresponsible. The careful stewardship of our nation's most classified documents is foundational to the institutions. It's why we are... What's that? Oh, really? In his garage. Next to his car. Parse away.
By the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
It's totally different. Enemies of our nation would have to get on their tippy toes to peer into the garage to see those documents using some sort of image capture technology, which I'm sure doesn't exist. Spies would also be distracted by my sickest Corvette. And let's not forget, in contrast to Donald Trump, the moral stand Biden took on Saudi Arabia after they murdered one of our journalists.
We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
Yeah, boom. Khashoggi will not be forgotten. Candidate Biden says this moral line must be drawn. And President Biden?
Tonight, with one fist bump, a pariah no more.
Come on, it's just a fist bump. It's just a fist bump. Come on, don't. No, Trump would have probably done the whole, like, boom. That is a moral line I won't cross. I'll just but he would have done the whole boom. Whee! And of course, there's the border.
We're going to restore our moral standing in the world and our historic role as a safe haven for refugees and asylum seekers. My Lord, we've never made asylum seekers seek asylum outside the United States of America.
We've never done it. Tomorrow, what Trump is doing, until, of course, my poll numbers start to go down.
Today, I'm announcing actions to bar migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum.
Rules, loopholes, and norms. The distance between the systems Democrats say they are revering and the one that they're using when they need to is why people think it's rigged. Use the rules, use the loopholes, the norms, but also use it to help the people, not just those people related to you. All of us are somebody's son or somebody's daughter. And we all need that break too.
Donald Trump has spent the last few weeks filling out his cabinet. And now that Matt Gaetz has dropped out to try to find the high school from Euphoria, there is a new nominee for shadiest nominee, Pete Hegseth, Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense and guy with resting divorce face. And all right, let's hear it, leftist snowflakes. What's wrong with this one?
CBS News has confirmed that Pete Hegseth was forced to step down from a veterans nonprofit after being accused of alcohol abuse, sexual misconduct, and mismanaging the group's money.
Okay, that's a lot for one person. Alcohol, sex, and financial misconduct? I mean, it's called delegating, bud. Try it sometime. How could someone do so many bad things at the same time? Like, not only are you drinking and harassing women, you've also got to find time to suck at QuickBooks. I mean, let's go through these charges because I'm sure the libs are just overreacting. Like with the alcohol, I mean, what? He probably had too much Chardonnay at the office Christmas party like one time? How bad could it be?
The report says Hegseth was repeatedly intoxicated to the point of needing to be carried out of the organization's events.
So inebriated by 1 a.m. that a staffer who had driven him to his hotel in a van full of other drunken staffers asked for assistance to get Hegseth to his room.
Hegseth passed out in the back of a party bus, then urinated in front of a hotel where CVA's team was staying.
At one point, Hegseth had to be restrained while drunk from joining the dancers on the stage of a Louisiana strip club.
Wow. Do you know how hard it is to be the saddest thing at a strip club? I mean, a half-naked pregnant woman dancing to pay her medical bills was looking at him like, damn, this guy needs to get some help. Right? Also, how do you not know that you can't just get on stage at a strip club, okay? They don't even let regulars do that. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's what Wikipedia says. Look, you guys are laughing, but does no one see the tragedy in this? A warrior forced to fight when really he just wants to get on that stage and dance. But yeah, he seems to have nailed the alcoholism. Let's hear about the sexual misconduct.
Hegseth and other members of the management team sexually pursued the organization's female staffers, whom they divided into two groups, the party girls and the not party girls.
Okay, let me just check this real quick. All right, yeah, that's not allowed. I don't know what's worse, that he supposedly divided his female staff into party girls and not party girls, or that he couldn't think of a word for not party. He's really a bit of a caveman, isn't he? When the sun in sky, day. When sun go away, not day. Time for party girl. So Pete was reportedly constantly drunk and trying to sleep with the party girls on staff. But what about the financial mismanagement?
You say, under his leadership, Veterans for Freedom soon ran up enormous debt, and financial records indicate that by the end of 2008, the year after he became the leader of the group, it was unable to pay its creditors.
Hegseth had treated the organization funds like they were a personal expense account for partying, drinking, and using CVA events as little more than opportunities to hook up with women on the road.
When he joined this veterans charity, did he think that he was the veteran it was going to? I mean, guys, it will really help my mental health to go to this strip club, okay? I have PTSD. Party time suck my d. So, unlike wraparound shades, none of this is a great look for Pete Hegseth. But you know what? Hey, these are anonymous quotes from a bunch of haters. I'm sure his mom loves him.
Meanwhile, Hegseth's mother sent him an email in 2018 during his second divorce, calling him, quote, an abuser of women. Penelope Hegseth writing, quote, I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego.
Okay, I'm putting mom down as not a party girl. Donald Trump is still constructing his next administration, but he seems to be doing it the same way that billionaire built that Titanic submarine, because it's imploding immediately.
Pick in peril. Pete Hegseth back on the Hill with his bid for defense secretary in doubt.
Will another Trump nominee be forced out? A growing number of senators have signaled they are not behind Trump's defense secretary nominee, Pete Hegseth. Who is the president-elect considering to replace him?
Will Pete Hegseth's nomination survive the day? It's a real question.
Wow, this would be very sobering news for Pete Hegseth if he wasn't shit-faced right now. I mean, if Hegseth doesn't get confirmed, this is really going to make people question Trump's strategy of giving the most unemployable people on earth the hardest jobs that ever existed. And honestly, I kind of feel bad for this guy. I mean, he had it made. A cushy job on Fox News, a side hustle selling macho garbage on right-wing Instagram, a loving third family. And then Trump comes along and offers him a job, and now his life is kind of f***ed up. I mean, who could have seen that coming other than Matt Gaetz, Mike Pence, Rudy Giuliani, Michael Cohen, and everyone else Trump has ever come into contact with? Hey, anyone heard from Herman Cain lately? He's dead. Google it. And maybe one of the reasons why Pete Hegseth can't seem to extinguish this dumpster fire of his nomination is because more people keep throwing garbage into the dumpster.
Yesterday, new allegations of excessive drinking also emerging about the decorated combat veteran. NBC News spoke with 10 current and former Fox News employees who worked with Hegseth on one of the network's morning shows and say the former co-host drank in ways that concerned them. Two saying on more than a dozen occasions they smelled alcohol on Hegseth before he went on air.
Okay. Before you judge, yes, his show starts at 6 in the morning, but he was still drinking from the night before, okay? So it's not sad, it's awesome. I will say it's weird that we're arguing about the drinking, because even if he was stone cold sober, he's a TV host who ran 2 veterans organizations into the ground. He's not qualified to run the Pentagon anyway. Okay, this is like saying, hey, yo, this cat can't be pilot. He has a drinking problem. Okay, then maybe this cat can be a pilot. It's very cute. But you know what? This might be for the best. The first step to sobriety is your co-workers admitting that you have a problem. And look, we don't have any hard evidence that Pete Hegseth was drinking before work, but if you watched his show very carefully, you might have picked up some subtle clues that he liked to knock him back.
I've always wanted to do this.
Give it a good shake.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
I will not be abstaining from alcohol.
Possession is 9/10 of ownership.
sharing.
We have 3 more hours.
And maybe if I do well, I'll get a pint. A little bit of champagne. There you go.
I'm going to get another refill. Hold on.
Champagne is my problem when it comes to hangovers. It's
But it
bad.
fixes the problem in the morning. Because then you have a little bit more champagne, and then your problem goes away.
Again, the show airs at 6 a.m., but as Pete Hegseth always says, hey, it's 11 a.m. somewhere. So Hegseth is losing the president, he's losing the senators, he's losing his co-workers. I mean, does he have anyone left on his side?
This just in, Pete Hegseth's mother just sitting down for an interview.
He's very smart. He loves his country. He's a good dad. He's an amazing son and father. I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't believe he's the man for the job.
What kind of parent-teacher conference are we watching right now? Because the future Secretary of Defense needs his mom to come out and defend him? I thought you were against women in combat roles. And besides, I never saw Donald Rumsfeld be like, hey, I have a warning for the Taliban. Mom, you tell them. Now, the reason Pete's mom is part of the story is because a few years ago, during his second divorce, his mom sent him an email where she called him, her own son, a habitual cheater, liar, and abuser of women. But now she's saying, don't worry about it.
Let's go back 7 years, which if we all went back 7 years, we would see that maybe we were not the people we are today. I want people to look at Pete, understand him for who he is today, and to disregard the media. That was 7 years ago. And most of it is misinformation.
Oh, what misinformation? You wrote the email. You're the one who told us he's a piece of shit. And by the way, 7 years ago wasn't ancient history, okay? We still have the same Spider-Man. Like, overall, things don't look good for Pete Hegseth. But the good news is he has the perfect solution.
Because then you have a little bit more champagne, and then your problem goes away.
Okay, but thank Buddha. Let's move on to a story that doesn't involve Trump right now. Yesterday, out of nowhere, the incredibly unpopular president of South Korea declared martial law. And then a few hours later, after everyone got mad, he was like, hey, you know what? Forget it. That was a stupid idea. How about that Rosé song? To me, the craziest thing about this whole episode is what happened in South Korea during the few hours of martial law.
The announcement sparking massive protests in Seoul. This woman's confrontation with an armed soldier going viral as she screams, "Aren't you embarrassed?" at him.
Holy shit, she knows that's a gun, right? She's grabbing it like it's a thing that doesn't shoot bullets. She's like, is this a vacuum cleaner? What's this button do? I want to see it. This wasn't the only time a protester stood up to the military in South Korea. Check out this dude when a soldier tries to take his phone. Okay. I know everyone thinks all Asians know martial arts. And let me be clear, stereotypes are harmful. But did you see that shit? That dude single-handedly aikidoed the soldier into surrendering. I mean, that uncle is either really protective of democracy or very concerned about what people are going to see on his phone. By the way, Trump, if you're paying attention, can we get that guy as Secretary of Defense? I mean, his defense is incredible. He just did that. Biden might have at least one fun thing planned for his last few days in office.
Tonight, Politico reports that the Biden administration is currently debating preemptive pardons for prominent figures who have spoken out against Trump. Those who could face exposure include Senator-elect Adam Schiff, former GOP Representative Liz Cheney, and Anthony Fauci. White House officials, however, are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who've committed no crimes, both because it could suggest impropriety and because those offered preemptive pardons may reject them.
Man, pardons are getting so confusing. I mean, it used to be that you had to commit a crime to be pardoned, but now Biden has to do this weird, like, Minority Report pre-pardon thing, where it's like, hey, we know you didn't do anything, but Trump thinks you did something, so I'm going to pardon you for anything you did, even though you didn't do it. It's what our founders would have wanted. Also, who in their right mind would reject a presidential pardon? I mean, do you want to go to jail? That's where Diddy is. Okay, look, if you're going to reject a pardon, just give it to me, okay? I'll take it. Hand it over. I'll probably need it if Donald Trump comes after me for political satire, or speaking truth to power, or opening a credit card in my roommate's name, all right? Any of those things. Anyway, let's move on, because the story that everyone is talking about isn't in Washington, D.C. It's right here in New York City! Whoa! Where manhunt continues for a man accused of carrying out a targeted hit on a health insurance CEO. And investigators have been finding clues in some surprising places.
Urgent manhunt. Police looking for the man who gunned down the CEO of United Healthcare.
NBC News has learned that the words deny, defend, and depose were on the shell casings at the scene of the shooting.
Investigators believe this could be a reference to what's called the 3 Ds of insurance, a known reference made by critics of the health insurance industry.
To write something on something this small, and I mean, John, picture how you would try to do that. Would you take a fine point Sharpie? Would you try to scratch it in?
Would you train a mouse to write on it with some kind of mouse crayon? I mean, who gives a f how he wrote it? It's not important how he wrote it. What's important is that he wrote it, okay? This guy knows that there's so many bullet casings on the streets of New York, and he wanted to make sure we knew which ones were his, right? And now, yeah, I don't know if we should be applauding that. And now they're trying to interpret what deny, defend, and depose means. And it looks like it's either a criticism of the health insurance industry or this guy was just trying to solve the Wordle on his bullets or something. Honestly, I think all bullets should probably say stuff on them. I mean, how else are we going to get Americans to read again, right? We should load up a machine gun with A Tale of Two Cities written in it. I mean, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. But now, the cops just need to narrow down their list of suspects to anyone in America who hates their healthcare plan and has access to guns. It should be solved in no time. And there's one other thing that might help them piece this together.
The NYPD is processing forensic evidence the suspect left behind at a nearby Starbucks just before the shooting.
Okay, you stopped at a Starbucks on your way to your assassination. I mean, it's like, oh, you know me, I can't even think about murdering until I've had my coffee. This is helpful though, because the guy went to the Starbucks. So we now know he's either a tourist or a local who really needed to take a shit. And if he did use the bathroom, they'll definitely have his DNA because 99% of Starbucks bathroom users somehow miss the toilet.